Hello friends, it's Lisa again, and I have a really cool new video for you. In this one, my sister and I are paint pouring. Now, my sister is the one who has a lot of expertise in this area, but I have done quite a few of these with her. So, I'm going to walk you through what we did. First, we put the paint in. And you'll see, I'll tip the cup over in a minute and you'll see how much of the cup we're actually doing. So see, maybe 20% of it. We're also using the Liquitex acrylic color in the golden paints. These are going to be more expensive paints. They're not crazy expensive, but they're more expensive than cheap craft paint. And you want to do that because you get much better results. We started with the craft paint and you get okay results, and it's especially cool looking when it's wet, but then as it dries, it just doesn't look as good. Now that we've put the paint in, we're going to put some other stuff in. First is some silicone. It's 100% silicone, and I think it's, what is it called? Treadmill belt lubricant. And I'm going to put 2 drops in 2 of the colors. And this really helps make the cells. You'll see that as I actually start to pour. Next, I'm going to put in Floetrol into 2 cups and then this Easy Flow into the other 2 cups. And I'm going to do one with the silicone and one without for each of them. More as a test. I really didn't see any difference in how they worked. The silicone, you see a difference, you get more cells, but this Floetrol between the Easy Flow, you don't see much. The Floetrol is a lot easier to get in America, and it's cheaper in America. Now that I have the cups filled up with this medium, and you can think of the medium kind of like water when you're working with watercolors. It's to help make the pigment flow. So I need to mix the pigment in here. So I'm going to show you on just one cup because this is the most boring part of this whole process. It's a lot of fun to do, but this part is a pain. You have to stir and stir and stir and stir. And if you think you're done stirring, stir some more. So once I finished stirring all of them, I poured them into 2 cups, and I'm going to show you my sister doing that in a few minutes. I really didn't want to put 2 parts of the same. It's just not that interesting. But you just pour a little bit, and then you pour another color and pour a little bit there. But now I'm prepping my actual surface. So this is a canvas, and I've put white around the edges because sometimes the paint has trouble flowing, and especially near the edge, it has some trouble. So this helps it, and if you don't quite get a corner, you're able to still have a pretty picture. Now I'm taking this other hardback canvas and I'm using it to flip my cups over, and then I pull it onto the actual canvas that I'm going to do. You can see here that as I pull the cup off, I pull it off slowly and pull it around so that I get maximum coverage. My sister does it a little differently, and she just pulls it straight up, which is a different technique. I personally think you get a better result when you pull it up slowly and pull it around, but we both get really cool end results. So who's to say who's right and wrong? But it's my video, so I'm right and she's wrong. But you can see her arm poking in. She's so helpful. So I personally really like covering almost all of it. My sister likes a lot of more of the white. It's just a different look. So you can see it's just tilting it. You do want some plastic covering whatever you're working on because it's going to get everywhere. But it's really easy and simple, and you don't have to do a whole lot more than that. Once you get to this point and you're happy with how it looks, you're going to want to take your finger, or in this case, my sister's using a palette knife, and go around the bottom edge. And that way you kind of stop it from dripping. The drips pull more of the water down, or more of the liquid down, and so it keeps pulling off. That way it kind of stops that. Now here's what I was talking about earlier, where my sister is pouring all of these colors into a cup. She is doing very small pours. That's just how she likes to do it, and that's fine. If you're wanting to get a lot of cells and a lot of action going, that's definitely what you want. If you want more flowy look, you're going to want to do thicker layers. And the last pour that we do, we each made 1 cup using all of our leftover paint. And she did like she's doing here, where a lot of layers. And then I did, I don't know, 5 or 6 layers. So you'll see the difference in that painting, where one half of it is kind of more flowy and one half of it has a lot of dots and a lot of different colors and movements, and neither is wrong or right, just a different technique. So you will need to think about how much paint you need for each canvas. So we were using pretty big canvases, so we ended up doing 2 of these pretty large cups. Now you can see, even as she's starting to pour it, when she pours the gold on, she put some of that treadmill lubricant or silicone in there, and even now it's starting to make cells. So she's going to do the same thing and add some white around the edges. She did a little bit more than I did, but like I said before, she likes having the white, so she won't actually pour it all the way down the edges. Now she's added her cup, her first cup, and you can see it's a very vibrant colors. It's going to look really cool. And we tap the bottom to kind of get it to loosen up, the paint to loosen and actually flow. And we try and grab most of the paint out of that cup, and put it around the edges so that it'll help the paint flow still. So I really liked how this turned out, in the top left, where she has all the different colors, but it'll change. You just have to accept that. Now, one thing you can do is put like a fire or a torch, and it's supposed to bring out more of the cells. We are a little hesitant in my family to do fire and stuff like that. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you'll understand why. But we tried just this lighter, the like torch lighter thing, and it didn't work. So no need to try that. It doesn't work. And I'm helping her, but I think it's easier to do this when you just have one person. So on the next ones, you'll see just one person actually tilting the canvas. So how cool does that look? We had a lot of fun, and it turned out really cool. I do think that these nicer paints give by far a better result, as opposed to some of the cheaper paints, which look a lot different when they dry, as opposed to when they are not dry, or are wet, I guess you would say. Oh my, it's been a week. So now this is her second canvas. She made a lot of paint, so she had enough for 2 full canvases, and then together we had enough for 1 more after this. You'll see she's going to come in with a straw, and she's blowing out the edges. When she first did it, I did not like it. I was kind of like, what you doing there? But as you can see here, it actually starts looking really cool. So I'm excited to try that sometime myself. This is the one that we have both of ours together. On the left, you will see her cup, and on the right, you will see my cup. On the left, she will have a lot more cells and a lot of color variation, and on the right, I will have less and more flowy look. Neither's wrong, neither's right. It's just I put thicker layers of color and she put thinner layers of color. So you'll see how that works. And definitely this fluid art kind of stuff is a lot of fun to just try to try different things, see how it's going to look. And you can see that big swoosh. I really liked that. I like her cells as well. But it's just really what you want. So there's one more. My sister, we had just a little bit of the blue left, so she decided to do a different kind of painting, and at first I did not like it at all, but it turned out pretty cool, and I think it'd be a really good base for a mixed media project. So now I'm not going to walk you through this, you can kind of tell what's going on, but I wanted to say thank you for watching this video. If you're interested, hit subscribe and check out one of the other videos of mine. Also, if you're interested in checking out my Society 6 page, I've added a few of these up there with some cool stuff. I have a blanket that I bought, a different design, but that I bought, and it is so cozy. So anyway, have a wonderful day. Thanks, guys.